Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope that you had a great 4th of July weekend. I'm Garrett Greene here in the Green Room, bringing you all the latest scores and information from the 4th of July weekend. And we had a lot going on in the various sporting worlds. And we'll start off tonight with Wimbledon finals wrapping up in the men's and women's side of it. On the men's side, you had Novak Djockovic facing Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal, one of the best players in the world, but if you remember, Djokovic had just moved up into that number one spot. He looked a lot more athletic and aggressive as he goes out and beats Nadal in 4 sets, 6-4, 6-1, 1-6, and 6-3. This is Djokovic's third major championship, and he takes Wimbledon for his first win. Also, it's his first win on a grass surface. Now, on the women's side, after winning all 12 of her sets over the last 2 weeks, Maria Sharapova was the highly favored tennis player going into this match against Petra Kvitova, but she goes out and she loses to Kvitova in 2 sets, 6-3, 6-4 for Kvitova. This is her first win at Wimbledon and also her first Grand Slam tournament win, so a great win for her. Now on to the world of golf. Tiger Woods announced today that he would not be playing in the British Open. As we all remember, Woods sat out for the last major championship. That'll make 2 championships that he sits out. Also means that he will miss 4 of the last 13 major championships because of a leg injury. So a lot of people saying that Woods needs to get his head in the right place, but it also appears that he needs to get right physically if he wants to keep chasing after that majors win total. Now, even though the NBA is locked out, we still have a little bit of NBA news. The Indiana Pacers announcing today that Frank Vogel will be their head coach heading into next season. Vogel served as the interim coach this year after taking over for Jim O'Brien back in January, and he led the Indiana Pacers to their first playoff berth since 2006. Now, they were knocked out in the first round by the Chicago Bulls, but it did not matter since they did make a vast improvement over the course of the season. It is reported that he will have a 2-year deal with a third-year option. And for the Dallas Mavericks, if you all remember Rudy Fernandez, who ended up being the trade for their first-round pick coming to the Mavericks, well, he had an option to go take money and play in Spain for Real Madrid. He turned it down and said that he's coming back next season whenever basketball starts up again, and he'll play for the world champion Dallas Mavericks. So speaking of, by the way, it is day 23, and the Dallas Mavericks are still NBA champions. Now on to Major League Baseball, going off the field with the steroid era, the last of it really. Roger Clemens is set to have his trial start at some point this week, and his defense team came out and said that what they will be presenting as their main argument in his perjury case is that Brian McNamee, the former trainer for the New York Yankees while Clemens was with them, manufactured evidence against Clemens and blackmailed him, and that resulted in Clemens' case with Congress. So that's what he'll be out there saying. And of course, this comes as a break for HLN, who needs something new to cover with their 24-hour news coverage after the Casey Anthony trial obviously wrapped up today. But it should be interesting to see how this all plays out after the Barry Bonds case set the precedent for what should happen with scandal in Major League Baseball. Now, matters on the field. Albert Pujols was activated from the 15-day disabled list today, and this is after he went out 2 weeks ago with a broken left wrist. It was reported initially that he would be out 6 to 8 weeks, but the 3-time NL MVP said that he expected to be back after about 15 days. He is now. He is not starting in tonight's game versus the Reds, but it is reported that he has the ability to pinch hit and come off the bench. So expect to see him in the later innings come in and try and get a little bit of play over the next 4 or 5 days before they work him back into the main rotation and as one of the starters for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, as we mentioned, it was the 4th of July weekend. Yesterday was the 4th of July, and what's more American than a little bit of baseball? Let's go around the horn and look at all the scores that happened in Major League Baseball yesterday, starting right here in Arlington, Texas with the Texas Rangers. It was a slugfest for the Rangers as they go out and Indy Chavez hits his 3rd home run of the season. Adrian Beltre hits his 16th. Indy Chavez had 4 RBIs in the game. But the big deal was that Michael Young, after the 4th inning, was only a home run short of the cycle. Well, he did not have the opportunity to get up there and do it as Ron Washington subbed him out. I believe Mike Napoli came in and played first base for the rest of the evening. So Michael Young comes a home run short of the cycle, but it does not matter as the Rangers go on to beat the Orioles 13-4. Now the Nationals are playing the Cubs. They go into the 10th inning, and it is Jason Worth scoring on a wild pitch by the Cubs as the Nationals go on to win 5-3. The Blue Jays were playing the Red Sox yesterday, and they jumped out to an early 7-0 lead. but the Red Sox would work their way back into it. It was 9-7 in the bottom of the ninth inning with a man on second base. Frankie Francisco comes in, gets the save, strikes out 3 straight batters. It is his 10th save of the year as the Blue Jays hold on to beat the Red Sox 9-7. The Pirates take advantage of playing the MLB worst Astros. They are sitting at a record of 29-57. The Pirates go on to win 5-3. The Pirates are now 3 games above 500 and a game and a half within first place of the NL Central. Interestingly enough to see them in the race after they've been out of contention and had losing seasons for such a long time. Twins go on to beat the Rays 7-0. The Diamondbacks storm back after being down 6-0 after giving up a grand slam to Sean Markham, the pitcher for the Brewers, but they storm back and win 8-6. The Mariners hold off the Athletics 2-1. The Padres chase Tim Lincecum out of the game after only 5 innings. They go on to win 5-3. Heath Bell, the coveted 33-year-old closer who looks to be dealt at some point in this season, gets his 25th save of the season. Now the captain, Derek Jeter, was coming back for the New York Yankees. He goes 0-4 in his performance back, and despite Curtis Granderson hitting his 23rd home run of the season, the Indians go on to beat the Yankees 6-3. The Phillies top the Marlins 1-0. The White Sox beat the Royals in a walk-off balk. They go on to win 5-4 in the bottom of the ninth. The Cardinals beat the Reds 1-0. The Angels use homers from Torrey Hunter and Vernon Wells. They go on to beat the Tigers 5-1. The Braves beat the Rockies 4-1. And the Mets rally in the 6th inning and score 3 runs. They go on to beat the Dodgers 5-2. Well, that's all that we have wrapping up this 4th of July weekend. Tune in again tomorrow. We should have another edition of the Green Room. Until then, have a good evening and good night.